Hi, everyone, and welcome to Wine.com Experiences. I'm Gwendolyn Osborne. We are so excited to have you here today as we talk and taste through the wines from Lisa and Pandora Vanderpump, especially their brand new line of California wines from Sonoma. Really awesome to be tasting these for the first time. For those of you who submitted questions beforehand, fantastic, great. Thank you. We are going to be incorporating most of those into our Q&A with Lisa and Pandora, and we'll try to get to some of them at the end. We might not get to all of them, and I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for participating. We appreciate your interaction with us. And if you purchased wines ahead of time, please go ahead and get those open. We will be tasting through all three wines today. If for some reason you don't think you can get through all three today, that's totally fine. Just open one or two. We will have this video live on YouTube and living on the Wine.com YouTube channel going forward. So you can always come back and revisit the video and taste other wines then. We are going to be tasting the Vanderpump Rosé first, then move to the Chardonnay and finish up with the Cabernet. But without any further ado, I would like to introduce our guests. The very lovely Lisa Vanderpump and her just as lovely daughter, Pandora. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Really excited by this.
Yeah, so good to see you. We're in these lovely weather, outdoor California loveliness, and celebrating.
Thank God, we need it, right?
Right, and celebrating a Mother's Day weekend. We're just really excited. Thank you for taking the time to be with us to talk through these wines.
It's such a pleasure.
Yes, great. Let's get started. We're just going to kind of go through everything. And I want to talk about the inspiration here. You know, what was the inspiration behind deciding to start your own wine? I know you work in the restaurant business. Yeah. So what kind of led you to say, let's do wine?
We loved having our own restaurants. I mean, we've had something like 37 restaurants, I think. I can't believe it when I say that. And we started in London, and then we lived in France for 7 years, in the south of France. And I just really developed such a passion for rosé. And so when we came to LA years ago, we found that rosé wasn't actually that popular then, was it?
No.
So
you'd ask for a rosé, they'd give you a white Zinfandel.
And people had a different perception of rosé all those years ago. So we first started kind of doing our own wines in the restaurant many years ago. And then honestly, it was Pandora and Jason that just said, you know what, we really want to bring it to the market. That just seemed like just so much work for me to do. I was just like, have you any idea what you guys are undertaking?
Well, Jason and I had always sort of done the wine buying for the restaurants and things like that. And we all love wine as a family.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like such a great opportunity because we wanted to drink a rosé. Well, all the time, absolutely. But we wanted to drink something that we could be proud of and that was sort of reminiscent of our time spent in France. So
also, Gwendolyn, one of the things is because I'm in our restaurant so much, we're right next to people when they're drinking our wine. So it's so important to us that the product's really good and we sell it by the glass. And it's just been a labor of love. I have to say, Pandora and Jason have done so much of the heavy lifting, but nothing gets past me without my approval. So it's been really a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, that's fantastic. And actually, one of my questions was, how did you end up partnering with Pandora to do this? But I think my question should be, Pandora, how did you rope your mother into this? Like, how did you convince her?
We work together in a lot of aspects of our businesses and our foundation and things like that. So it was kind of a natural thing to do together. And it was a really...
I have to say, I've always been the authority on everything because I'm the mother, but she's kind of superseded me because she's got more knowledge than me now. So that's really frustrating. But yeah, we work together on our dog charity, the Vanderpump dog charity, and she's worked very closely with all the restaurants. And I think also Pandora and Jason, you know, they had a very authentic kind of journey into this whole situation because they started literally as waiters working with the wines and, you know, very young age. And we're talking about 15 years ago now. And so they kind of grew with it. And then they said to me, you know, can we start this? We really want to do this. And I was like, well, I would love to bring a rosé to the market because I felt there was a real gap in the market. I mean, we've been working on the rosé for 4 years? Well, longer than that, but it's been on the market like 4 years now. 4 years. Yeah. And so people have loved that so much and been so excited by that. And then as a family, it started to grow into, a bigger business. And we've had the white and the red, but it's been a lot of work. When I just see them in the bottle, I'm so proud of them, because I'm proud of the guys as well, Pandora and Jason doing so much. But it really has been something we've really enjoyed doing, I have to say. The tasting's a very good part of it as well.
It's an excellent part. It's an excellent part. Well, and I think that that's great that you guys have done this together and grown it. And I like the authenticity of that, because when you do work at a restaurant with customers, you start to learn what is the demand, what are they looking for, what are we missing, what can we put together to do that. And I love that that's kind of.
And Gwendolyn, we have a lot of young people in our restaurants. I mean, we have a very diverse crowd anyway, but we do have a lot of young people, and maybe they don't have such a knowledge of wine initially, but when they kind of come in, they say, I want something really drinkable, really approachable. And I think that's what these three wines are. That's what we tried, that they really do hold their own. So yeah.
Well, let's start drinking them. It is 2:00 after all for us.
But or should we use
no, unless you brought a good straw. But I did when I was gonna. You mentioned you lived in the south of France for 7 years, which is beautiful, and rosé is such a big part of life there, and so I guess that's kind of how
in the day there. I have to say, the whole kind of siesta in the afternoon.
Bottle for lunch, 2 bottles for dinner.
Exactly, and it just goes by so much quicker. So we were very interested, when we came here, the fact that we also see in our restaurants that people didn't kind of drink as much rosé, and so that's obviously changed in the last few years.
A lot in the past decade or so. Yeah, and dry rosé is now more of the norm, I think, than the white Zinfandel.
Well, that was really important
style.
Well, I remember on Housewives when I had the tagline, life isn't all diamonds and rosé, but it should be.
I know, and I love that is up here and it says diamonds and rosé on here. I think that's I love it.
I was saying that it was really important to us to have and embrace that dry rosé Côte de Provence style, because to us, that's what I grew up with.
Right. Well, you go up with it.
That's what I was weaned on.
Yeah, right, there you go. Well, that's what. So that was the style you had in mind when you were deciding to make this rosé. I want that.
Yeah.
Dry rosé style.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, crisp, dry rosé. And I think
the color is so important with rosé as well. You wanted that beautiful pale peach color.
Yeah.
Not too blue, but not too orange, light.
Right.
It's that kind of pale rose. And I think with the bottle as well, because I think anybody that's watched me over the last 400 or 500 episodes, or however many crazy amount of reality television I've done, I think they also know I'm very much an aesthete. I love kind of visuals and beautiful things. And, with Pandora and Jason, that was something we really worked hard on together.
Yeah.
So we could bring these, to the table, and they would look like jewels. They would look, things that look beautiful on the table. So that's been a lot of work as well. But they all three have their own identities, very much.
It's a pretty color. It's a beautiful label. It does speak to Provence too. There's just with the roses and everything, and then the nose here. It's like that big bowl full of red fruit, and it's got a little bit of that citrus undertone too, and then
kind of red currant and a hint
little
of
spice
peppers.
when you smell it.
Yeah,
too, which is really
it's
nice.
like
spice. Yeah, I love it.
It's kind of citrus. It's really.
And I love that about rosé, where you can kind of pull in a little bit of what a white wine gives, a little bit of what a red wine gives, and it's kind of this mix. So
I think us as well.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, and also another thing is in France, you often see, especially on the beaches in the hot weather, they'll kind of have some ice with it sometimes,
they do
which
that.
makes it a longer drink, which is kind of a fun way to drink it.
Yes, in my older years, I actually got over that whole aspect, and there are many wines now I easily throw an ice cube into.
Yeah.
But it's great with all the Mediterranean food too, and a pasta plate, some hummus, some olives, everything. This is such a good food
and
wine.
Salads and cheeses and fish. I think, when we used to eat the Mediterranean diet, very much the rosé goes very well.
I think coming from the restaurant industry as well, it was very important to us that not only can the wines stand on their own and be delicious by themselves, but to make sure they were food friendly, and that kind of came along with making it into a dry Provençal rosé, because you want to be able to eat with it. You don't want something that's kind of coating your tongue and cloying.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
sweet.
You want to be able to sit with anything, even like your cornflakes in the morning, Gwendolyn.
Yes, of course. You want a good balance.
Exactly.
you need a good balance. So, and this does have that beautiful balance of that wonderful acidity and then the texture. That's my favorite things about Provence Rosé is you get that bright acidity, but you
I
love a certain weight to it.
It's done very well. And I also want to thank everybody for supporting us, because they really have. I see so much on our social media, and when I go to appearances and everything, people are just so, you know, supportive of it. And I think they know that it really has been, you know, our passion as a family getting into the wine business. So
and this will continue, right? Because actually a lot of the people that came in with the questions when they registered were, please tell me there will be more vintages. Are you going to keep going with the rosé? We love
absolutely.
So they're going to keep going, right?
Like the pièce de résistance of our collection.
Yeah. Well, I think that was our baby, really, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was. But I think with all of them, I think we're going to extend the brand. You know, people keep asking me for like a sparkling, maybe something.
Oh, everybody asked about sparkling. I was going to get to that later, but yeah.
Yeah, that excites me, I have to say.
Good. Good. Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit of like what's next on the horizon. But I know what you just launched.
So much work.
I think the thing with us is, and it's part of the reason the Cabernet and the Chardonnay took a little bit longer to do it, and we didn't just release them all at once, is we don't want to just put our name on a bottle. We do this from the beginning. We find the partnerships that we want, the winemakers that we want, the fruit, the wine, everything, and really do it right. Because if it's not something that we want to actually sit and drink all day, every day, then we don't want to be selling.
No, you don't want your name on that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, because it's in all our restaurants, it's very important, and especially it's by the glass. It's very important to us.
Okay. I want to talk about these next two wines because these are your newest additions and your new venture here in California that you've just launched from Sonoma, a Cabernet and a Chardonnay. Why did you choose those two varieties, the Chardonnay and a Cabernet Sauvignon?
I think we definitely chose those because of our French influence and the fact that we lived there for 8 years. And I think there was like this really great synergy with the fact that Chardonnay and Cabernet are probably two of the most popular grapes and the traditional grapes of France, but then they're also very traditional and popular for California. So it had this great sort of marriage of the French influence.
It was definitely a couple of discussions, wasn't it? That we kind of went backwards and forwards, thinking, you know, what's something that would really kind of like, you know, capture our kind of spirit of what we've kind of been working.
And we don't discriminate against any wine, so we had to
we embrace them all. It is all about love.
I mean, you know, having grown up in Europe, I think people, you know, wine there is just a very important part of lifestyle and dinner and lunch. I mean, for me, I love a cocktail. Like if I go out to a bar, you know, at night, like
someone else makes it, I'm all in.
Something else makes it. Otherwise, but with food, we love cooking, we love food, we love our restaurants. So wine's a very big part of our life, you know.
I think in Europe, wine is an experience. Like it is a lifestyle in general.
Yeah.
And that's sort of becoming more apparent in the US as well. You've got a lot of people like really embracing
and I
entertaining
think,
lifestyle and wine and
like you see a lot of your friends and younger people really wanting to understand it a little more but for us it had to be everything. It had to be very drinkable, it had to be very approachable, and it also had to look beautiful, and we had to keep it at the right price point. So there was a lot of challenges, but we.
And is that why you chose? I mean, you chose Sonoma. I mean, there's a lot of places in California to make wine.
Sonoma.
You went with Sonoma, which was why Sonoma? I mean, I love Sonoma. I'm not gonna argue.
Reasons we went with Sonoma, and I think part of kind of what you were just saying is not only do we want the flavor profile and the visuals, but we also want that history and the tradition of the wine as well, which is why we went with Côte de Provence for the rosé.
Yes.
And we love the wine tradition and all the wines coming out of Sonoma lately. And we love that local sort of rustic.
Yeah, and it was near the coast, and it was just, it is so beautiful up there, that very rustic. It's a beautiful place.
And also our winemaker who we chose and we love, Tom Hind. He is amazing, and he had such a sort of great relationship with Sonoma. He lives up there and everything, so it just was a very natural.
Tom Hind, he had such a great kind of enthusiasm
and sense of humor, which is really important.
Yeah, really important. But he actually made it fun, so that was a really important part of it.
And he has the same kind of feeling towards wine that we have, where it's approachable but beautiful, it's elegant but it's not fussy. Like we want these wines, all of them across the collection, to be very delicious versions of what they are, like a delicious California Chardonnay with our French influence, delicious Cabernet, but also to be unfussy. You know, we want them to be easy drinking as well.
Yeah, and you know, the by the glass style, I think I like that. It's from a restaurant standpoint. You come at it with this, like, it doesn't have to be something that has to be paired with something or something specific, or aged for a certain amount of time. It's something that everybody can approach now. So let's talk about the Chardonnay.
We both cook a lot too, so we want to be very versatile and be able to translate across different meals because we like to cook a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
All right, you ready?
So this comes from the Chardonnay, yes.
Yes.
So this comes from the Sonoma coast, which is one of my favorites.
Yes.
It's a great, cool climate. It's
Beautiful.
ideal for, it's gorgeous. And it's great for Chardonnay when you're looking for that balance between that really good acidity.
Yeah, and by the way, to everybody who's drinking it.
Cheers.
And the nose.
You're putting that acidity with the tropical fruit, and then when you have some oak influence, having all that integration, but keeping it right.
To us, this was probably the most challenging when we were trying to describe exactly what we wanted, and kind of, you know, we both did the barrel tastings as this wine kind of advanced and developed.
It's really an education, by the way.
It is. I mean, Jason and I both have our CSWs and that kind of thing, but actually being involved in that process was eye-opening.
You smell the citrus and the
citrus is so prominent, and the pear, and then there's some honeysuckle. I love the floral, like that honeysuckle note coming through.
I love that. The crisp apple.
To me, I mean, well, to all of us, I think we really wanted to get that minerality and that acidity that you get in French Chardonnays, that crispness, that bright, beautiful Chardonnay, but then marry it with that, you know, buttery touch of oak that
but
gives
with a
it
very refreshing finish.
It's all about balance, you know. It's just finding that really crispness with the texture and the richness. It's beautiful.
I love our Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Every day.
It pairs
then
with
that's success.
Chicken and seafood and vegetable dishes. I think at the time I was getting impatient. I was thinking, wow, this is quite a long time, you know, to bring it to. But I think all the work that they put in and we put in, and just kept saying, oh, more like this, more like that, going backwards and forwards, especially with the look of it and every single thing about the tasting, the nose, everything. It was just, I'm really, really happy with it. And as I say, I'm proud to sell it in our restaurants if ever we open them again.
Yeah, it is that beautiful. Yeah, even like just like it smells on the mouth too. It does. It retains that crispness, and to me, that's so important in the Chardonnay. To be able to be kind of that bright, uplifting that matches anything that might have that rich texture. So
I love the balance buzz because it kind of has everything you want from a Chardonnay. You know, it has that crisp acidity, and then I love that buttery.
And it's quite affordable, which is also feel. You know, when people are wanting to drink great wine without, you know.
And I think it's a lovely gift as well, you know, because I think you can see with a bottle like that, just as I say, the visuals of it, they're kind of very pretty and elegant, and I'm very proud of them.
The labeling is really interesting for the California wines because we wanted to sort of take elements of the rosé and tie that in, but kind of go with a very sort of beautiful classic Sonoma style on the labels. So that was an interesting experience, but I think we came up with something that is very elegant. It looks more expensive than it is. It feels, you know, beautiful. The quality of the labeling and the paper and the raised gold is, I'm really proud of that.
You should be, and that's one of the things I love about wine is you have this. You start in the dirt, you know, and you go from this. You know, you're talking about agriculture, and then you've got biology and chemistry, and then you get into the art. Though there's also this element of artistry, and
there's so many components to actually bringing it all together. And I found it fascinating actually when we first started doing it. You know, just how much thought and style and taste goes into the whole process. But it's as I say, we're just getting started.
I know, we're excited about that. And you said so there were a lot of questions that came through about your perfect pairings, and you had mentioned chicken and seafood. I feel like it's something like a chicken or a shrimp and a butter sauce, you know, like to kind of match that rich texture.
I think so, absolutely. That's what I would recommend. I would think, you know, like seafood, mild cheeses, and
actually on our blog, if you want to take a look on veryvanderpump.com. we wrote up all of our favorite pairings. So like her roast chicken recipe. We've got like beautiful penne and prawns that goes perfectly with the rosé.
Which we ate last night.
I know.
Perfect.
The Blanca's tuna tartare is perfect for both the Chardonnay and the rosé.
Tell me the blog name again. Tell me the blog address again. Well, not me, but everybody who's watching.
Vanderpump.com, but there's a lot of fun stuff on there.
Great.
And I think we have the same approach to wine as we do to food, really. It's
to life, really.
To life. Right?
Life.
We want it to be fun. We want it to be beautiful. We want it to be elegant, but we also want it to be easy and approachable. We don't want anything too fancy. Like the recipes that we do are things you can throw together in 30 minutes. They're, you know, a dash of this, a sprinkle of that. Not so much like you have to have 4 grams of whatever. I mean,
well, the U.S. doesn't use grams anyway, so don't worry. We wouldn't understand you anyway.
Exactly.
Well, this is a beautiful wine. It's great. I love, everything you've kind of talked about, of all the energy you've put into it and the passion. It's really pretty, and I think it really shows. So thank you. I want to move on to the Cabernet. This wonderful red wine, which I had a couple of weeks ago too. So this comes from both the Knights Valley and Alexander Valley, right? And those are the 2 appellations in Sonoma that are known for making just top Cabernet Sauvignon. I mean, they are the top of the top for knowing what to do with this grape. And what I love most about this is like the expressiveness of the nose. It is just so pronounced with all this wonderful fruit, and then there's the spice, and then there's a little cedar, and it just is so inviting. It just makes you want to sip.
The color of it's beautiful as well. The deep ruby color.
Yeah. So pretty. Cheers.
And can you smell it? The blueberry,
plum,
and raspberries. It's very lush. It's very rich. It's got this kind of really lovely, kind of fruity, lush tannins, and it's got a very elegant finish.
I think that was, you know, part of the reason we chose that area in general for our Sonoma County Cabernet is because of that. They make such wonderful Cabernets, but ours is quite Bordeaux inspired based on just our wine choices and the things that we like.
I didn't want anything too heavy either.
Sometimes California Cabernets can be like very, very heavy and rich, and you have to, you know, wash it down with something or eat with it. We wanted this to be able to stand on its own.
And to be very drinkable by the glass was very important to us.
Is, you know,
I mean, I love some of the other fuller bodied red wine sometimes, but for us, we wanted something, you know, that pairs very well with, you know, many things. And as I say, drinkable by the glass, it's very important to us.
Yes, and I think I love the lush word. I think it's so approachable. And so I guess, you know, coming at it from that by the glass mentality, I think it's so interesting and cool because it is this wonderful thing that you can just drink. You don't need food. Right. And I love the diversity of everything in California, where some you do want food, some you might not. And it's wonderful to have a choice of all of those. But this is just a lovely one that I think is just very expressive. I like that.
Yeah. And for us, as we say, it's great. We do pair it like now with this. It would be great with grilled meats. And
I actually have a great mushroom crostini, like a grilled mushroom crostini on the blog.
Vanderpump.
So good with it.
But as I say, you know, we often have a big bar crowd in all of our restaurants in Vegas and, you know, Beverly Hills and that. So for us to be able to, you know, it has to be able to stand alone as well.
Yeah. It's really nicely balanced, this Cabernet too. Like it's got that really great smooth finish.
The color of it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is a good color.
But a lot of flavors, a lot of fruit.
So what is your, I mean, you talked a little bit about this, but your involvement in the process, I feel like it's much, and I know you were involved in the process in France as well, but it's much easier to get to Sonoma from where you are than France. So
as much
what's
as
it been like
in France,
I could actually almost live up there. I have to tell you, after living in France, I think Sonoma's just a wonderful, wonderful place.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. It's just got a great kind of rustic feel about it. I really, I love it there.
One of the great things has been really getting to know the locals and all of the local spots up there, because you learn a lot about the area and the wines and what people are doing when you're kind of entrenched in those areas with the local people. And I think it was a really great experience. And as much as we were involved in the French process, I mean, just having it 30-minute flight away or a couple-hour drive, I mean, it just changed it for me. And we go up all the time.
Yeah.
That's great. It is a beautiful place. So have you been to the vineyards? Have you gone into the wine making? I know you had talked about, you posted a video recently, Pandora, of the bottling process. It's just also fascinating.
I think Patty put some of it on social media, didn't you?
I know
the bottling.
My poor iPhone quality videos that I post.
I know. I missed that. Fun. I missed that.
You missed the
I missed the bottle.
No, we definitely have been very hands-on with it. Obviously, we're not, picking the grapes ourselves, but we are
not stomping them.
We'd like to. Maybe
that's mainly in Portugal anyway.
It's been really wonderful to go up there, and our winemaking team is amazing, and the bottling process was crazy.
Well, I think, having lived in France and then bringing the rosé from Côte de Provence, but I think our house and where we live, we're so kind of based in California. It's like our second home, really. So for us, that's what I said. I really did want to kind of focus here on the California wines, and I'm really glad we did. It's been a great experience.
Fantastic. So we mentioned something, but what is next? I mean, I know you just launched these, and hello, puppy.
This is Puppy. Yeah, Jig is actually asleep on the table over there as well. Yeah.
Okay, good. So what's next for you in the wine world? I mean, do you have any new varieties or regions on the horizon that you want?
We just launched our Cabernet.
I know. That's why I said you just launched. But
wheels in motion. I think maybe something pink and sparkly.
Oh goodness, you will make so many people happy, because that's what everybody wanted on our Q&A that came through. It's like, what are they doing in sparkling? What are they doing in pink sparkling?
We have our Vanderpump Sangria.
Yes, right. So that was the other question. Is that coming? What is the?
That is
something that might be in the works.
People loved it so much that they drank it all.
Yeah, we weren't prepared for it to be as popular as it was. Yeah,
but it's coming back soon.
It's coming back.
Okay, I hope everybody hears that who asked that question.
Yeah.
Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so I am going to ask you guys a couple questions that came through on our pre-registration Q&A. One was about from Sharon and Brianna, who are both from California, asked if you plan to ever have a tasting room or presence in Sonoma.
Well, that depends if she moves up there.
I would like to have a tasting room attached to my house. That's what I'd love to have. Wouldn't that be fun?
We do kind of have something in the works with one of our friends' places that's opening soon. Just a place where people can kind of go, try a flight of our wines, really kind of get involved in Sonoma Square and really, enjoy what that area has to offer.
I think we would do maybe at a later date, like Palm Bay have done in Sonoma. Maybe
we'd love to.
Yeah,
I know. I realize everything's kind of on hold right now, so it's not all.
I know it's
here, so we're all in the thing. So that's good to know that that's in the brain.
Yeah.
And Samantha in Virginia, Victoria in Pennsylvania. What was the most challenging part of starting your own wine label? And you kind of touched a little bit on many of the challenges, but from, what was the biggest hurdle, I guess, that you're like, do I want to do this?
Well, there's a lot of kind of legalities and things like that you have to go through.
There's a lot of challenges sort of on the end that Jason and I work on with, getting distribution in different states and all of the different elements that kind of have to click into place. And our importers made it much easier for us to do that, which has been great. But, the wine world has a lot of ins and outs. So it definitely is an ongoing process.
I mean, it was very complicated, the whole process of choosing the direction we were going to go and the tasting and the sampling and deciding all those factors. But that was the fun part. I have to say, when I said that Jason and Pandora did a lot of the heavy lifting, all of the other kind of things, that was pretty laborious.
And it is sort of, wine's ever evolving too. So, trying these barrel tasting, like the barrel tests every single couple weeks and, checking that out, you don't know what you're going to end up with. Yeah. So finally getting that finished product and having it be spot on to what we wanted was an amazing feeling.
It was about everything. It was just about the taste, the look of the bottle, the color, everything in the glass. Yeah, it was,
Yeah. So Kaylee in Georgia, Jibby in California wanted to know the dynamic of working together in the mother-daughter in the wine industry, excuse me. I imagine it's kind of similar to what you do in the restaurant industry.
I mean, sometimes
we work together a lot.
We do work together a lot. Sometimes she's a bit bossy, I have to say.
And you never are, though, right?
She says I'm paid, but we get on.
She is the biggest perfectionist that you will ever meet, and she doesn't let anything slide.
It's good to be able to.
In the end, it's a good thing.
It's
but sometimes
eventually. It's a good thing eventually.
If you're gonna make wine, I'm gonna say it's good to have a perfectionist in the mix.
Yeah. So that's. But we work on, as I say, so many different things together. Yeah. Our dog foundation has been huge. Pandora and I working on that together, and we've had, a lot of kind of complicated business to go through that because we passed resolutions in Congress and the 501c3 and everything. So, in the restaurants, obviously, there's a lot of things that we do. I do think sometimes, you've got to take a breath, because sometimes when it's family and everybody's got a different opinion, but for the most part, I think we really work pretty well together. It's Mother's Day tomorrow,
which is good.
It's actually my mother's birthday today, who just passed this year, so it's a little bit of a poignant weekend,
just for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Do you two? There was Megan from North Carolina wants to know, do you two have any Mother's Day traditions that you do, or?
I have to buy her presents, cook her brunch, cook her lunch, cook her dinner, give her a mess.
Great. I'm going to take all of those and start to teach my daughters that exact same thing, because
don't give her any idea.
Well, they're very good. I have to say, they do really like to celebrate holidays, and even sometimes when it's difficult times or sad times, challenging times, even if it's just kind of cooking lunch or saying this is our job today, you take care of it.
We're a very close-knit family. Like my brother and I, we love to spend a lot of time with my parents, and we're here often. Every day is Mother's Day here, so.
Every day is Mother's Day.
Is that absolutely not? I wish it was. Trust me, I'm going around circles tomorrow.
So I also know that your charities are very much a part of who you are. You talked a little bit about that with Vanderpump Dogs. I just want to touch on those and ask, how are those doing? I know that you do a lot with galas and fundraisers. I know we're kind of at a very difficult time. So how are your charities doing? How are you working on this?
Pandora's had a couple of brilliant ideas, because obviously it's difficult to keep everything afloat, and it has been really, really challenging and sad. And
we make a third of our foundation's money through events throughout the year, and not being able to have those is
and the gala difficult. Obviously that will be
we've actually launched something similar to what you're doing, and it's sort of like an online experience series with different musicians and influencers that we work with once a week. So it's sort of a donate as much as you can but have a beautiful hour experience. So,
and what, people, it's a nation of dog lovers, so the support that we've had,
the fosters.
The fosters, even if it's not been the financial support, but just the people saying, how can we help? Because I think they've been with us on our journey, and they've seen us, fighting against this inhumane treatment of dogs. We've been trying to stop Yulin, and we've been to Congress, and we've had resolutions passed. So all those things. And John Sessa, our partner in the Vanderpump Dog Foundation with Ken and Jason, Pandy, and I, we just, Max too. I mean, we just love dogs. So, we've been trying to stop the torture and close down the wet markets, in China, which are responsible for a lot of this, awful things that are going on now.
But you're right. The outpouring of support that we've had in this time, and it's not necessarily money related support, but the people who've stepped up to foster these dogs so that we can take on more dogs. Yeah. Because so many of the city shelters are closed. And
it's interesting how much has stepped forward for this, during this pandemic.
And even if people have given $1, it really, every dollar makes a difference. But really I'm involved in other charities, the Trevor Project, the suicide prevention, all those things, we're glad speaking, for GLAD and everything, LGBTQ support.
We've done a lot with Midnight Mission.
Yeah, Midnight Mission and the homeless recently. And things like that. So there's a lot of work to do. But I think, whoever you are, it's tough for everybody at some point. And the more you have, the more responsibilities you have. But right now, today, this is a beautiful day. It
is a beautiful day. Yes. And I wanted to mainly also say thank you for all that you do. I think it's wonderful to use your popularity and people listening to you to really speak to these kind of issues. And so thank you for doing that. I think
I'm going to be starting a podcast soon, which I'm excited about.
Oh, that's exciting. I listen to this when I run. Please tell me more.
I know. I haven't even mentioned it to one person, so you're the first to know.
Yes, and all other 1,000 people listening. But yes, I'm the first to know. Yeah. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. So, thank you so much for joining us, taking the time to talk to us. I know this is kind of a great weekend and a beautiful weekend and probably a difficult weekend as well for you. But I appreciate your time to talk about just your story, the story behind the wines, your passion behind these wines, which is so exciting. The wines are delicious as we all celebrate this wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And thank you to all of you at home joining, tasting, listening.
Yeah, thank you to all of you, really.
Everyone.
Thank you to everybody, really. It means so much. I love it when I've been out in the field and I've met people, and now because we can't do that, it's great just to be able to connect in this way. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. So Lisa and Pandora, we look forward to what's next to come. I mean, we're very excited. We just launched one thing, so we're excited to enjoy these 3 wines that you have so far, but look forward to seeing where this goes. I think there's just so much potential. I love your excitement behind it. So I hope you both have a lovely weekend and Mother's Day.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Cheers to you. Cheers to all of you watching. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's both a science and a form of high art. It's made from the combination of grapes, sunlight, rain, soil, and time. It's raised up in the moments that matter. It's wine. And we are Wine.com. We have the largest wine selection in the world, online sommeliers with free advice, and now our powerful new app puts the entire world of wine in your hands. Wine.com. Seriously passionate about wine. Download our free app today.